it's caveman talk.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what I.
Welcome to New Game Plus. This is a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name is Kenny.
Nolan.
And this is episode 454. Welcome back, Nolan. The question of the week is, what are you playing right now?
Yes, it's been a while.
It's good to come back to this every once in a while to just touch base, see where we all are at, and make sure no one's stuck playing PoE 2 or chess.
PoE 2's not out. He's for sure playing chess still.
Don't judge me.
If you ask this question in 2 weeks, it will be PoE 2 because the early access is coming out, and of course I'm no-lifing it. Like, don't talk to me. I know it's a bad choice. I'm going to do it anyways.
You don't want to preemptively make the better choice?
No, I don't.
Okay. Right.
Now, though, I actually have. I've been gaming. I just wrapped up Resident Evil 4 Remake on hardcore. And it was really good. It's really, really good. Like,
really?
Really good. And I immediately started another game. So my official answer now is Death Stranding.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't want your opinions on Death Stranding yet.
I don't have any.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I have some. It's because the intro is bonkers, but I don't have thoughts.
It was such a... Well, I don't even know if it was panned. I don't know if I heard many good things about it, but I know it's very experimental, which you have a taste for. A penchant? What is it, Kenny?
A pension.
Yeah.
No.
He said, yeah.
He's pinching it.
You have a taste for,
I have an affinity for because of my love of like David Lynch in film and TV, and that's and Kojima is certainly that of the gaming world. So yeah,
It will be interesting to see where you land with that. I do want to go back to Resident Evil 4 very quickly because you have been systematically, slowly going through all of the remakes.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2's that's all we got right now. 2 is the best by far.
But that's also your favorite of the original, right?
No, my favorite of don't let's not get into this. My favorite of the originals is probably 4 on GameCube. But 2 Remake is like an insanely good game, and 4's right behind it. It's up there. Like, it's the perfect remake. 3, throw it in the trash. The remake. It is so bad.
Wow.
It's not the same team as 2 and 4 that did it, and it shows.
Weird. All right.
Interesting.
Kenny, what are you playing?
Nolan made a terrible mistake. I don't know. A couple of weeks ago.
Oh no.
He gave me beta access to the Bazaar.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I've done with my life.
Oh no,
since.
Kenny, I'm so sorry. Wait. Oh no. Don't blame that on me.
No, that's 1,000% your fault. But you knew that it was my cup of tea, so you had to.
Dustin.
So it's not really your fault. It was obligatory.
Hearthstone creator, one of them, leaves Blizzard, makes his own game. Same vein, more roguelike, auto battler called the Bazaar. And
Nolan.
Yeah.
I watched y'all play it for a couple of hours.
Oh, did you?
Before you left, yeah.
It's a good game, and it's going to be a great game, but it's pretty buggy right now, Kenny. How are you?
Buggy.
It's just laggy.
If it didn't hook me like deep, I would have bounced so hard just because of the technical beta issues. Literally, for the first week that I played it, every single time I would close the program, I would have to completely re-download and reinstall the game for it to work.
Are you serious?
We're talking like 3 gigs of downloads, and I did that like 13 times in a day at one point.
Dude.
Do you want to know why I don't know if I'm interested?
It has a lot of potential.
Why?
Part of it is playing competitively against other people.
Fair.
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, a little less true in this case, but that's part of it.
A little less true, but it's my least favorite part about the game too.
Yeah, it seems as though that's kind of your boss battles. It seems like you're doing like your own thing by yourself for a little while, and then
PvE.
you come up to this match where you have to go against someone else with the build that you've created.
Yeah.
It's a cool concept, and it looks cool. It looks addicting. It looks like another one of those gotcha, like just click, flash on the screen. But it looks fun, and I think that Kenny got kicked out for more than one day while you were gone, though, Nolan, because he was panicking to me that he wasn't being able to play. Is this just what you're the
He
bug?
may or may not have
there were some
messaged
technical
me
issues.
on my vacation about it
Oh.
to ask.
Not about the issues.
Oh
just
yeah.
Like,
hey,
maybe.
how's your trip going?
Hey,
if you've
I'm
got any
glad.
time.
No, I was like,
I could have bugged you so much more. I was playing so much that week.
wow, that's so funny. Okay.
The only game that I'm playing, and you'll know I haven't had as much time or energy to devote towards gaming recently, is a single game. Every once in a while, I'll hop back into it. It's Subnautica. I think I briefly mentioned it on a previous episode, but yeah, I think I've got a dozen or so hours into it. And it's weird because I keep, like, there are times, segments of gameplay in those 12 hours that I've really enjoyed. I've had something that I was pursuing. I discovered something new. Like, I went into this blind, you know, and I'm not using a walkthrough. It's not a game. It's not a game like that where you kind of just go out. Now, I'll look up for like a how do I build this, and so I'll look up the item list that I need to get or whatever. But there's no
But it's not like a story based game.
No, although there is no, it's certainly not. But there is like
Is it like open worldy? Is this more like Terraria? You're just like discovering and figuring stuff out and like doing your own thing.
But
okay, then that makes sense.
But what you're finding out, there is story. You're getting these audio logs from other
but it's
crew
not
members.
like a linear like story experience kind of game. Okay,
but there is a way to get to the end and of the story, which I don't think I'm close to. And so there are points along the journey that I've enjoyed, and it's like I'm working on something, and then there are some times where it's like I just don't know what to do next or where to go. So you just go out into the deep again, which is fine, but it's sometimes hard to come back to and do because I don't really have a task that I'm working on. But I just built a new navigation machine that I can use and go deeper than I ever have before.
Oh,
well,
you go deeper.
Oh yeah, I can go deeper. So it yeah. So.
Do you think you'll finish it?
Oh yeah, at this point it's like even if
you're invested.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. And again, I don't even know necessarily how to do it, although how to like get to end game. Although I've got some ideas. It's a really creative, cool world, and Subnautica 2. I don't think it's out, but like, okay, yeah.
Or I mean, announced.
So there's a lot more for people that would like it. Nolan, I think you would like it. Kenny, I don't know if it's your thing. I think, Kenny, you would enjoy watching me play. It's one of those reverse things. I would enjoy watching you play some games. You enjoy watching me play.
I think Kenny would be
some.
terrified.
Absolutely.
Oh, I don't play this game around my wife. She has glossophobia and under the sea phobia as well. So like both under the sea, she is scared of both of those things. So it's definitely.
Does it have a quest log?
No.
Oh, you'll put it down.
Yeah, I have to have my own quest log. Let us know what game you're playing right now by hopping into our Discord. There is a question of the week thread in our latest episode discussion channel under our podcast category. And sorry if that sounds a little bit too convoluted or complicated or absolutely ridiculous. And if you can't figure out a way, just start clicking buttons, and there's a really small chance that you might strike gold and end up exactly where you need to be. Like in our retro game of the week, Gold Rush.
Overview.
Gold Rush.
Oh, because there's an exclamation point?
Yeah. It's a PC
I'll
game.
accept it.
And it came out in 1988. It's pretty old. It is a graphical adventure game. What?
Okay, throwing around the O word.
I mean, that is old.
Loosey-goosey.
Before my
There's
time.
someone that played this much later in their life.
Yeah. It was
When it
before
came
me.
out.
Let's say that. How's that?
It was before Nolan.
That's fair.
It is a graphical adventure game, and the last one we played was probably a Sierra game.
No.
You don't think?
No, but
There are
No,
like
I think it
was
was.
there-
I think it was that clown spastic one that had like real actors in it, and
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
wasn't that our last like graphic
Cartoon
adventure
Town
game?
or whatever? That might have been the last one. We've played quite a bit.
Toonstruck.
Thank you. Was probably not a Sierra game. I don't know.
No,
This one was. It was developed and published by Sierra Online, and they kind of had this part of the market cornered. I think it would be safe to say. Have a lot of famous point-and-click games, a lot of famous graphical adventure games, 80s and 90s. Probably, I think 90s. This game uses their AGI engine, which was their older engine. They had developed a new one. I don't know what the name of it is, but this was the last game to use it, to use the AGI one.
The Adventure Game Interpreter.
Ooh.
which
Okay.
was used. It's the same one used on many of the King's Quest games, which
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
think we played any, but that's
Kinda-
its most famous
Yeah.
series.
Lots of those sort of 80s era Sierra games, that's what they use. They pivoted quickly after that to using a new interpreter they built called Sierra's Creative Interpreter for like later games.
Okay, they
just
put their
did a
name in that one,
better
yeah.
job of things.
And then
Um,
C++, Anaconda, and
Quit just
all of
saying
these
Anaconda?
other ones. There's something like
Nicki
that.
Minaj. Okay, so that makes sense. This game is a text-based adventure, meaning the game wants words from you. So it's not like point and click style where you kind of are hunting the pixel with your mouse. You have like a command line basically that you are typing in, and that's how you interact with the game, which maybe we haven't played a lot of those specific types of this genre on the podcast because I don't recall doing that.
We've played a few, though the era where that was sort of still a thing, but also with graphics is a kind of transitional era
Yeah,
between
You're right.
the old
You're
adventures
right.
and point and click, because we've done some that are literally just text based.
Just to see ASCII characters and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't Hitchhiker's Guide
Yes,
that way?
that one
among-
was, but
That's
that was
really-
not graphic.
time ago.
Or did
No.
it?
Right,
have
that's what I'm
graphics?
saying.
No, it was all
It-
just text.
It had
I
like
think
images,
it was
maybe.
just.
I don't know.
Regardless, it wasn't this. It wasn't it wasn't that halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is actually kind of unique in that sense where your character's in a graphical world and you're interacting with keyboard.
Yeah.
The story of this game is kind of, it's not educational or like edutainment, but it is based on real events that happened. So it's set in 1848. Your character's name is Jared, and he lives in Brooklyn, and has this long lost brother that you don't really talk to anymore, but apparently he goes to California and gets in on the big boom of the gold rush in California, in Sacramento. So, I mean, you can not go, I guess, and just
Live your
Not-
life.
live your life how you want. Or you can take part in the gold rush and go to California and see what it's all about. And like Dustin was saying in the segue, look for gold.
We now have a bonus episode exclusive for those on Patreon.
Episode is not an over-exaggeration. It's a full episode.
And it's an episode that you get to be a part of.
Yeah, it's called Expansion Pack, and semi-regularly you get to be a part of the conversation. And we're going to debate, and we're going to scream at each other.
We're going to talk about
Have
video
our-
games. Yeah, we're going to scream mostly, though. That's kind of the point of it.
Yeah, we like goats.
You roast us, we roast you. Find out more information at patreon.com/NGP podcast.
Gameplay.
Allow me to set the stage so that we're all
Coach.
looking at the same thing.
I almost said it too, Nolan,
I say
because there's stage coaches in the game.
Nice. You are using your keyboard, as Nolan has so eloquently put it, but you're using the only keys you're using for interaction, navigation, are the arrow keys. You're using your arrow keys to move
Classic.
around. which is good. That works, right? I mean,
Yeah.
WASD is better, but
There's also a decent number of like
Sure.
function keys
Tab,
that you need to learn.
tab for your inventory, which is great
Tab,
because that's a
yeah, some of your F keys.
Sorry, really quick question. Left hand or right hand on the arrow keys? when
Okay,
you're
no,
playing?
hold on, because that's absurd.
No, it's not.
That's an absurd question.
It's not an absurd
No.
question at all. I mean, no, it is an absurd question, and there's an absurd answer.
What is the answer?
Wait, what is the correct answer or what is the
Yeah.
absurd answer?
The correct.
The correct answer we'll all say on the count of 3.
Okay.
Right,
1, 2, 3. Right.
Left.
right.
Okay, you need
It's
to
a
leave.
typing
So that's why I asked.
freaking
No, no,
game.
no, no, no.
It's a typing
Everybody,
game. And
everybody.
he reaches across.
It's absurd.
No, look.
No, nah.
My arms are crossed on the desk, and my left hand ends up resting by the arrow keys, and it's really comfortable to me that way. And if I have to type,
And then you type alone with just your right hand?
no, you take your hand off the arrow keys.
Yeah, that's so inefficient. Just
That's-
put your hand on the keyboard.
But then my elbows are hanging off. The edge of the desk is
Okay.
digging into my forearm.
Riveting. So whether you use your left hand or right hand for the arrow keys, which left is the wrong one.
Let us
it's
know in
clearly
Discord.
well,
Right.
Yes, but quit saying
and
right.
this is
Kenny.
coming from somebody left-handed.
You're not. I am.
No, you, not me. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe you're the
Wow,
weird
we're
one.
just so confused.
You-
No, because I'm normal-handed and I use my right hand as well.
Normal-handed. That
you
is ableist.
ableist fool. You are using your right hand for the arrow keys to move your character around graphically on the screen. Every other thing you're doing, mainly, Kenny was right. You can use tab for something or you can use an F key for something. But for all other interactions in the world, you are typing out.
You're typing.
I was right there.
Yeah, and I'm supporting
You
you.
stole it.
Yeah, like
done.
right
I'm
when
not
I'm gonna
stealing.
say.
I'm not stealing. I'm reinforcing.
You are
I'm
typing.
echoing.
You are typing out these commands, and I'm gonna say it from the front. Nolan's gonna disagree on almost everything. I feel.
No.
Kenny will have my back. I feel there is so much liberty to try whatever. Now, of course, you're going to try some commands that are going to fail, but
Sure.
honestly, most commands are going to do something, are going to tell you something, in my experience. They've got to be reasonable, and
a
you've got to
decent
type.
number. Right.
You've got to type them. Quit saying right. You've said right so many times, and we were talking about
Left.
right versus
I'm
left. and,
agreeing
Left.
with you.
correct. They've got to be correct commands, in the correct formatted commands. And as long as they're correctly formatted commands, you're going to get some kind of feedback. Now, if you're walking around like Nolan did in his first play and saying, "Give me all your money," or like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Like you're a person talking, you're not going to accomplish
Okay.
anything.
Those only came after I failed a million times with one-word commands. So no, I disagree.
Because
there's so many
one
things that
word
don't work.
commands are not right. Are not correct. You need to do 2-word commands.
Go say it right.
Look floor, touch window, lay bed. You need 2-word commands. You were trying 1-word commands and not getting anywhere because it's like,
Right.
what do you want to touch? What do you want to look at? What do you want
but
to
it does
kiss?
tell you that. It says you're getting there. Give me something else. Like it does try
No,
to guide
it's-
you a little
Give me
bit.
something else.
The 2-word thing is really important. You got to
Yes.
do like shut mouth.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's caveman talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Go now.
Here's what I realized in the middle of Nolan's freaking out and making assumptions that this thing could like understand anything
Right.
he wrote.
Right.
I think we're actually at a kind of weirdly strategic time where we've come full circle, where there might be room for text-based driven games again.
Whoa, you're
And I
talking
only
about
say
this
that-
now?
No. I'm saying like now in 2024.
Powered by OpenAI
and I
or something.
only say that because exactly, literally at one point Nolan was like typing things and was like Chat GPT does this so much better. And he's right. Like it was a joke he made in his first play. But it was a weird thing they did back then where they took out sort of keywords and you could type things differently even than you expected, and as long as you had those couple of keywords in there, it would still recognize the phrase, which is
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And feels kind of smart for the day.
Yes.
But then we're like, let's move on from text-based adventures. This is so limiting. I think text is smart enough now that you could go back and create a game that did this again in a way that actually could be really cool today. But that's a whole nother conversation, and I won't derail.
You are not wrong. In fact, you are right. The thing that I would do, this would be kind of like my go-to, is I would walk into a new environment or a new space, and I would look, single word look, or I could do look around, whatever, and it would give me a little bit of text feedback on what Jared is seeing around, and sometimes it would give a little bit of clue of maybe like what I want to look at next or interact with next, and so then I would look sign, or look desk, and like I said, a lot of the times it's giving you a text feedback that's prepared. Of course, this isn't AI. It's giving you some kind of prepared text feedback of what's on the table or what you're seeing when you look at the sign. And then you can.
The sign says.
The sign says keep off grass.
Keep off.
Stay off the grass.
And in my first play, I got a ticket for walking on. No, I got a ticket for walking on the grass. Then I got trampled by a wagon. Then I got kicked by a horse. There are so many ways
trampled by
to
the
be
wagon?
punished. Oh yeah. Oh.
Did you fall off into the water and drown like Nolan did?
No, that was amazing.
Why
you just
can that happen? There was a barrier.
Yeah,
He
he just
stepped
flipped
over?
over. Jared decided, I'm done here.
It plays the dead guy noise.
Yeah, the dead guy noise. There are so many ways to be punished and to outright die. This is a game. This is one of those games that was meant during the day to be played over multiple gaming experiences.
Right.
And only probably figure out a few new things each time you play the game until, a year later, you're able to put all the pieces together and get to the destination.
Right.
And it's
the thought is
correct.
Yeah, learn by failing, and by failing a lot.
A lot.
It's one that you definitely wanted the manual for. I'm not sure if it helps you all that much. I didn't actually look at the manual for this game.
I did. There's a little bit of help there.
No, there's a lot of bit of help there.
Okay,
and that's
I figured
what
it'd be a lot of it.
That's mainly why Nolan got roasted on the YouTube first play.
Yeah, I got a lot
but
of hate comments this week.
He got 80% of what he needed to know from his help menu.
Yeah,
sure.
Which is better than some people did. I didn't realize that was there, and I struggled the first time I played, trying to play it blind as well. And then I went and looked up the manual, which is like a thing you
I don't
do.
know if I'd say 80%, because I think what the manual does provide is a very lengthy story that helps provide.
Sure.
And after that,
Context
it also provides, context clues. And then after that, it provides, hey, if you don't know what to do, here's some of your first steps. And so it gives you some of your, some first suggestions of what to do, and that's key.
It does, but it puts them behind a spoiler tag where it basically says only do this if you're not like serious and want to figure this out on your
If
own.
you're not serious,
Oh,
look below.
If you're not a serious person.
Tiny me would have turned to that page and been like, no.
You were like that
I'll
back
figure it
then?
out.
He did like
Of
He
course.
invented spoilers.
So like, I don't know. It's a help, and I think people should definitely reference it.
Yeah. And you
but
would
all
have.
it's gonna really do is get you into your own house and teach you a few of the key commands, which kind of puts you along the path. There's a ton of stuff you're still gonna have to discover on your own. Like, it's not actually a bad spoil at all.
And to be clear, like, the commands that you're putting in are only going to take you one single step forward. So, for example, when I went to the post office in town, my following commands to do what I ultimately wanted to do was look desk, ring bell, ask mail, take mail, open mail, read mail. Like, you have to do a series of commands in order to finally get to your end goal for just a single task. And maybe you don't have to do every single one of those, but that was just to get the mail. Like, then you have to go to the bank with your bank number and get the deposit. Then you have to go to your job and quit your job. Then you like, there's so many things you have to do here at the beginning that can paralyze you from moving forward efficiently and effectively. And that's one of the biggest downsides to this game in particular.
Tons of stuff. Nolan asked the question, and I want to answer this before we get too in the weeds on your point, though I think it's a fair one. Nolan asked the question, like, do you even like need the book? Like he asked about like having the book versus playing the game without it.
Yeah.
Correct.
One of the things I found super interesting, and I believe y'all may correct me as you did more research, they may have like removed this from like re-released versions of the games. They would have had to, but early copies of the game put in a like primitive copy protection where there are points in the game that you have to like type a specific word from the book, like on a specific page number, as a way of proving that you actually went out and owned the physical copy of the game and didn't just get a copy of it. I don't know if y'all realize that. But that's like how they did copy protection back in the day. They didn't have DRM or anything, but they were like, if you didn't purchase it and have the actual book that goes with it, you're not going to be able to get through this game.
Well,
tough cookie.
yeah, but you left out the best part. If you don't do that, the game doesn't just shut down. Your character gets hanged.
No, it like the game kills you and then like exits itself.
Well, you can also get hanged just normally.
Oh, so many
Yeah,
ways.
there's
they
a lot of
wanna
ways
hang
to
you
get hanged.
for nothing, dude.
Well,
honestly, I miss.
Have you been to 1888? Like that's just.
I miss Brooklyn, dude. Like, I get there and
I miss Brooklyn.
Nolan's like, why did you go on this adventure? Just
I got
stay
tickets.
at your nice little house.
I got tickets in Brooklyn. It was civil. Get off the grass, sir.
Right.
All right, my bad.
Yeah.
Hey, you dug too close to me. Get him.
Get
Hang
hanged.
him. All of you, and then
Yep.
everyone watches. What? This game is so dark.
That was the era, though. I mean, I
kind
think
of
it's
historically
faithful, brother.
accurate, probably. Yeah.
You go.
Well, one of the key things here is that you start off in Brooklyn, but you don't end in Brooklyn. If you're successful, you
Sure.
And I guess one of the novel things at the time was that you didn't just have one way to go about getting from point A to point B. You had three ways in this game in particular. There are three different ways to get to California. So, by the way, you start in New York before the gold rush, and
Right.
we'll talk about the penalty there of not doing things speedily enough, and it's crazy, that time constraint, and how punishing it is. But then you are able to maybe go to California or get to California in one of three ways. You can either take the stagecoach by land, which is the cheapest option, and the one that I would imagine most people are going to end up doing their first
Oregon
playthrough.
Trail option.
What? Yeah. One if by land, two if by sea.
2 if by sea.
I don't know. It's a bad and improper history joke. The British are coming. It's a just go.
Shout out the British
Just
are coming.
ignore 80% of what I say and do a podcast.
Nolan to explain it, all I did was say the British are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was contextualizing you with where my
I'm
brain
sure
went.
someone got you.
One person got you.
The two water options are through Panama and Cape Horn, which are two distinct and different kind of experiences. But you choose that option within the starting minutes or so of your gameplay. And if you don't choose them quickly enough, the gold rush does start and all the prices are inflated and you don't have enough money to do anything.
Yeah. It's
yeah,
realistic.
it's crazy.
And each one of those options provides more ways to die. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the
It's
game is almost a bit over the top on that front, I think. Like you can fall off the boat and drown. In
you
the
can
jungle,
get cholera or something on the boat, like just randomly and die.
A disease.
Just randomly.
There's like a
some of
snake
those
in the
things are
jungle.
avoidable. Not
Sure,
all
some.
of them. Some are completely random. Even the manual is literally like, ha ha ha, you better save often.
Right.
Like it warns you. It's literally like you got a save feature, and I recommend you use it.
It does have a
frequently.
save feature, which is pretty sick.
It does,
It's
and it literally warns you to use it.
And it's tied to an F key. It's like an actual quick save.
It's like a quick save.
built in.
Yeah.
And quick restore, not quick load, quick restore. But you need to do that because this game is designed to be trial by failure. You're going to move an inch, fail, learn. Move an inch, fail, learn. That's what you're intended to do. And again, you're intended to play this game multiple times. So like
numerous times.
The first probably, if you're going in relatively blind, the first 10 times you play this game, you're not getting out of California. Sorry, you're not getting out of New York.
No, absolutely not.
And especially with the time, because the time is linked to real game world time.
Clock,
so
yeah.
like, a clock. So like,
there's a clock on everything you do in the game.
So within,
pretty much.
Which is just another bad thing for these kinds of games of this era, particularly of Gold Rush,
That's
is
like
that you can
open
penalize
world and slow.
You can penalize yourself from the very beginning. You can soft lock yourself multiple ways by not
Without
doing
even knowing
something
it.
in the right way. Yeah,
That's why there's an F key for restart. Like
Right.
they anticipated that, and it's kind of built into the game. So I can't critique it too much for that. What I do want to critique it for is the trial by failure thing. I just don't like that.
as a gameplay,
as
philosophy
a mechanic. Yeah, like it gets, especially in a game like this where you're typing words. I know we already kind of addressed that, and once you get it, you kind of get it. But you always kind of have to run into a like guessing thing until you hit it, and when you're not like,
absolutely,
I'd rather hunt the pixel, honestly.
There's a core set of commands that you're going to learn that you're going to do a lot.
Look,
and
take,
those are going to feel
talk,
comfortable. Get, talk,
open,
like,
close.
Yeah, those feel normal.
Strip.
Unlock. Like there are things that are.
I'm sure it'll work.
Mind pick. I forget what.
Close,
like you're going to do
close.
a lot of things that are normal. I don't know what game Nolan is playing.
Pinch, booty.
Yo, we're playing a different game than I was.
At woman
But
walking.
no, the point stands. There's sometimes you'll get to something that wants a command that's not those.
Yeah.
And you've got to just figure it out. And sometimes you're just like trying stuff. And it can take you a really long time just to figure out which common English word is the one that they happen to trigger this thing on. And that can be
And then you get in your head and you're like, well, wait,
frustrating.
what would they say in 1848? Like, what word would that be? But
Nolan was role-playing it.
I'm not even like so much talking about like finding the word, although I am, and that's a thing. But also the like puzzles in this game are as convoluted as any of the other ones at the time in this genre. Like they just get really they make sense once you've figured it out, or like once you look it up and read like what happens, you're like, yeah, that makes sense, but how you get from point A to point B is kind of infuriating in this game.
I imagine that it was an ecosystem this era of gaming and this particular kind of genre that was popular at the time made sense to the people that were involved in it. So like when you come to this game having knowledge of the type and command kind of situation, you kind of already know how to do it. And then it's a matter of just finding the right things to do at the right places in the right times. The thing, so I think it's consistent with its logic in game, but for those that are not familiar with the system, it's such an uphill
feels
climb.
much more foreign outside of that time and that gaming culture and all of those things. I think that's a fair thing to point out because it really is a different sort of expectation. And even the idea of just like trying again and again and again. I know we've talked about that a lot, but like that was accepted. That's what we're doing. And then the fun is in figuring out one of those puzzles, even though you had to just try it a bunch of times. And then that's a breakthrough. And now you get a whole new piece of the story and you can progress. And now we'll work on this next part for the next week or whatever. And like, it's just a different way of interacting with games than we've come to expect. And it's going to be uncomfortable for some people who haven't done that. We talked a lot about mechanics of this game and like how it works, and even that there are routes. But I'm just curious, like y'all's gameplay, like which route? Well, which route would you have chosen? I guess because we're all forced into the default route.
The default.
What's your route of choice?
Well, my preferred route is stay in New York and enjoy a happy life.
Yeah, get tickets.
You don't
on
want
the
to even
grass.
just go on an adventure?
No. No, that's against my nature. But when I was forced to go on an adventure, honestly, it was very difficult for me to do anything other than Stagecoach by land, because you have to do things.
The window is so short.
You have to immediately go to your house, get your stuff, leave, and sell your house, and then sell your house, and then you have to wait a minute, 2 minutes for someone to come and buy your house. But if you don't do that right away, you're not going to do those things in time and get enough money. And so, I don't know, I would have loved to go Panama or Cape Horn, but no, I was stuck going by land.
Yeah, I went Stagecoach, and I did look up a guide, and I recommend if anyone's going to play this to just look up, there's a pretty
but it just takes away, like, it's counter. I agree, Nolan, because you're not going to be successful
what you just
otherwise.
said is ridiculous. Like, if you do want to go see, which I spent a lot of time trying to, like, do, like when I first revisited the game after my first play, I was like, okay, let me figure out how to get this ferry going in the boat or whatever, and then found out, like, after too long that, oh, no, I have to reset.
You just can't. The ferry already left. Right. You got to just play it again.
But I went by land, and it was kind of boring, honestly. Like, the other ones look a lot more fun. I looked them up.
Sure. Like, you get to live on a boat for a couple days, you know, and there's different rooms on the boat and on one of those. Kenny,
by default, I, like you guys, spent so much time initially just trying to, like, figure things out in that initial playthrough that, like, everything had fallen to pieces and I had no choice but to go by Stagecoach. But then I was like, this seems really inefficient. And so once I, like, learned it and did what Nolan did and was like, I got to just, like, consult a guide, I did go back and try one of the other routes and did Cape Horn. No, I did the more expensive one. I did
Panama.
Because it seemed the shortest, and I wanted to get there and get gold.
Okay,
fast.
let me ask y'all this:
regardless, okay,
how long did you pan for gold before you found gold?
Oh, you have to pan over and over and over again, because there's, you know, it's probably a random number generator of whether or not you're going to find a little bit of gold.
Yeah, it takes a long time, and if you're trying to get as much gold as you need to, you've got to do it multiple times.
Yeah,
like.
Not great.
That there's a lot of moments that are very, very obtuse. No, Dustin, I think the thing you said though is really fair. Nolan was like, I just used a guide when I got stuck, and you were like, and you're the guide guy.
I know,
but I'm kind of with you. These games are tough because you need a guide more than other games, but by using a guide, you're taking away the primary thing that the game wants you to do, that is a gameplay loop. So it ruins the experience for you if you play with a guide, but it's almost impossibly difficult to play without one. And so it's a weird tension.
If you're not using a guide, you're stuck in New York City figuring out how you're going to start making some money. Like, you don't know, like,
or robbing the bank.
I think the large problem with this game is that, look, I'm fine with there being obtuse. I'm not fine with there being obtuse puzzles, but if there are obtuse puzzles, there needs to be some kind of clues and context that lead you to the answer. And there are so many times in this game that there are not enough or no clues at all, and you're just supposed to figure it out.
So,
no clues.
Sometimes they're there, but they're very subtle. But sometimes it's kind of just like, you had to try something or just get lucky.
This isn't even a puzzle, but it speaks to this. Is like, in the gazebo in town in New York, there is a coin that you can find under the wooden slats of the ground there. But I'm pretty sure there is no clue, even if you look at the gazebo or look when you're in the gazebo. I don't think there's any clue.
There is. If you're in the gazebo and look around, there's some things that make it seem like you should try and get that coin, but it's bad. It's not like a very good. But there's other ones too, and I don't know. Maybe again there was a subtle reference to the fact that you should do this, but like in your house early on, the fact that you have to like close the open desk to find that bank statement that was like accidentally like tucked in the back but shouldn't have been there, like that makes no sense.
Did y'all play on fast?
I went back and forth. I didn't want to get
back and forth too.
After I got ran over by a stagecoach, I walked the streets more slowly. But yes, I went back and forth
because that's ridiculous.
I'm glad you found it, because I know that you were frustrated by that at the beginning.
Yeah, so slow.
We've alluded to it. I do want to point out that I think compared to the games like this of its time, I was amazed by how much story there was. Even from the setup. Nolan, I don't think you included the video setup in the first play, but even that was pretty interesting it was kind of like his head was in the middle and his dreams of like what he would like to accomplish and be something in life was happening around him. And then the story, like, it's not only there's a gold rush and I'm going to go get gold. His long lost brother, as you mentioned early on, Nolan, is a big part of this story.
There's some mystery there.
Look, you might not even find all these things unless you're using a guide. But on the letter you get from your brother, this is crazy and you're not going to know this. He gives you some clues that he might have found something and that something might be afoot where he is. If you look at and lift the stamp on the letter, you find some flecks of gold dust. That is so interesting. Again,
there's lots
you're
of
not
details.
gonna find that probably.
You may not, and part of why you won't is because they tried, and I know today we say open world in a different way, but they tried to kind of give you this open world feel where like some things you're talking to are very important and huge, but there's a lot of people you can talk to and all they're doing is just sort of giving you story and history and, you know, a little bit of like development of the place and the time, but then some of those things also matter. And so it's one of those games that if you've like played it before and you go and just like play it through, like it'll take a certain set amount of time. But if you were playing it for the first time and actually trying it over and over again to like learn all those things and talking to everybody and exploring everything, this game would take exponentially longer, which I guess was the point and what they wanted. But it's a very unique experience.
If you are familiar in real life with the California Gold Rush, you'll be better at this game than other people.
What he's saying is it's a game for old people, for those of you who are too young and brain rotted to catch the reference.
Aged.
I mentioned it was the last game to use that AGI engine, and apparently it was because of that. It was the end of life, but they were very familiar with it, and we've kind of hinted at it, but this iteration of it was extremely complex, meaning that they added many different routes to get to something. There's a lot of content in this game for 88. It feels like, from my perspective, it feels that way.
Yeah, it's beefy.
It's beefy for a PC title like that, and the logic of how all of those things work and the different scenarios you can find yourself in. I actually was quite impressed by that complexity and what they were able to pull off there.
I agree. I was also impressed, and maybe y'all won't. I think this one's a little bit more divisive because it's a very specific look. But I also thought this game looked great.
I love the look of this game.
Oh, interesting. So I was very interested to see what you all would say about this. It doesn't surprise me about Kenny's reaction. It does surprise me a little bit about Nolan's, because I wrote down that it's a decently looking game for its time. It doesn't age well. Like, I don't think like it looks good today, but for the time, it was
original context
remarkable.
Yeah.
On an old monitor, you would probably change your mind. I bet it looks really good
maybe
on a CRT.
And like, you've got to realize these are almost look hand-drawn, like paint style graphics.
Yes.
You know, like if you did old, just like pixel by pixel, not like retro, like pixel art, like we talk about, but just like literally like making images in paint, but high quality, like detailed stuff and
shadows, shading,
right? All sorts of things. And I don't know. It just felt like a lot of time and effort into making this world feel real and robust and full and realistic happened. And I mean, props for that.
And I would say the same with the music. It's got a robust OST.
Stop.
It's one of those games that's you'll hear yourself breathing. That's how quiet it is until something, you die.
A piercing sound effect.
The cops come after you. Like, then it's like one sound effect, but it's very loud.
By the way,
Yeah,
no
you
one.
get a couple of little music tracks.
I'm disappointed in you that you didn't run from the cops. At least not the second time. Can you? I never tried because I'm a good rule
interesting.
follower. Can you
I don't
run?
think you can.
Oh,
I don't
you're
think you
locked.
can.
He was way
I
faster
don't
than
know,
me.
but I don't think you can.
But if you can get off
if you
screen,
can get off screen, maybe dodge a ticket,
I didn't know.
become a criminal.
Yeah, Kenny said that there are a few, not songs. There, well, I guess maybe.
I mean, there's some songs.
I mean, when you
really
die, it's like
limited.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, you get some of those classic patriotic free
Yeah.
to use songs. You get some Oh Susannas scattered throughout there. Like all the like real tongue-in-cheek stereotypical stuff you'd expect from a game of this era. But it's all very early PC, low fidelity. Again, you got to remember audio is tricky and big in size, and these are just floppies,
Sure.
that you're playing this game on. So it doesn't surprise me that they didn't have music all throughout, but it definitely makes the game feel different.
I think we've alluded to it many times. The replayability for the time is remarkable. It's the 3 different routes, but it's not just the 3 different routes. It is there's really countless different routes. Like
It's optimizations. It's getting your score all the way up.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned, honestly. There's a 0 out of 250. Is that what it is at the top of the screen? By the way, the UI is very minimal, which is nice. You've got massive graphic, and then at the very top bar, you've got your points. And then on the very bottom is your C drive. Is your command bar. But so like with each of the good things that you do, it gives you a point, and it gives you that little audio feedback that you're moving in the right direction. I think each bad thing you do, it takes away a point, and it gives a little sound effect. But there's so much replayability here, for good or bad.
That's the other thing too. Like everything that y'all just said are kind of like, I think even before they realized, or before a lot of people realized, those are like the earliest rumblings of like a good versus evil playthrough of a game. Not good versus evil, but just like decisions mattering and like progression tied to this playthrough than this character specifically, and how it will be different than my next one. Like, I mean, 1988, that's kind of impressive to me. And it's not super robust, especially when you compare it to what we have now, but of course not. But anyways.
There is a remake of this game. We didn't play it this week. We wanted to play the original. In 2014, I think it released for iOS and Android. No, iOS and Android ports were in 2015. But the graphics
It looks
look
so
bad. Like
It looks
this
awesome.
3D.
I only looked at a couple like screenshots of it,
good.
but I'm like, I would rather play the original.
Sure. Now, I'm hopefully with the remake, they give you more clues and they take away some of the obtuse nature of the puzzles.
I feel like they were pretty strict, is my understanding of like the game as
They just
it
made
was.
it uglier.
But
They just made it
just
uglier.
with weird, shiny 3D, but like bad graphics, and then like poor voice acting.
Not voice acting.
Oh yeah, voice acting. I forgot. And then Gold Rush 2 came out. I almost said a few years ago, but 2017.
Gold Rush, here we go again.
Gold Rush 2, and it's actually so it's Jared, and can I say it? Spoiler alert. His brother.
Real name.
Get rid of the mine, sell the mine, and they've got to go back. They've got to go back to New York, and yeah. So I don't know how. I don't think it did well, but there is a sequel, which is crazy, and in 2017. Right. Like so long, between the two.
Gold Rush 2 or Gold Rush 2?
It's Gold Rush 2.
Okay.
Exclamation points on the rush. If you do want a copy of Gold Rush, the first one, well, you can actually play it very easily compared to a lot of other games. You can play it for you can get it for $3 on Steam. It's going to be under the Classic heading, so Gold Rush Classic, but it still opens up in DOSBox, but play through Steam, and it is very smooth. If you want to do it through DOSBox or Vim or whatever, some other thing, you can, but if you get bugs, it's not on us.
Yeah, that's on Kenny. And if you don't like it on Steam, you can refund it. Don't ask me why I know that.
And if you do want a floppy copy, then it is going to cost you $18 used or loose. It's going to cost you $135 new in box.
I don't have enough gold for that.
Final thoughts.
At the end of each and every one of our episodes, we determine whether or not the game gets our vote for New Game Plus status, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down. It does require 2/3 of the vote to swing one way or the other. Nolan, what did you think of Gold Rush?
It's not for me, to put it simply. I think I really respect what this game pulled off when it came out. I can admit that much. I'm really impressed by the look of the game, the scope of the game, and then just the different options that the player can find themselves in different playthroughs. I think that's, I mean, what more can you ask for in 1988 from a graphical adventure game? Like, that's the goal, and I think they pulled it off. So, I mean, it's no shade to the creators, to Sierra, to fans of this game. It's just not for me, is all it is at the end of the day. Like, I can play it for 30 minutes and just be completely done. It drains me of fun and of like motivation to keep going because of the trial by failure thing. I can only take so much of that is all, and I know that for a lot of people that is the game, but for me it's not the game. So I'm still broken Brooklyn. No NGP.
Broken Brooklyn. I agree with you. And in fact, I think you have been very fair. I could see you have coming. I could have seen you coming into this episode very negatively,
jaded and bitter.
Sure. Because there's a lot to be frustrated at. But I kind of align exactly with you that, like, I think that there, for the time, are a lot of admirable things here, and they were aiming high, and they fell short of some of that, but you can see the intent, you can see the passion. I was amazed this week by how often things worked, how often I would put in a command and something would happen. I'd get some kind of feedback. Now, the main problem is I don't think it was the feedback that I needed. It was just flavor text.
But it was.
I needed clues, but they really put work into this game, and it shows. The time element is what killed it for me. The expectation for you to get so many things right at the start of the game killed it for me. For the majority of this week, I was broken Brooklyn. And then when I started using a guide, which, look, it would be nice to use a guide when you need it for this game, but I found myself needing it at almost every step of the way. Yeah. So it just, at some point, it's like, just watch someone play it. Like, because at some point, you're not really making any decisions. Right. And so, look, in 1988, if we would have started a podcast back then, I'd probably say, yeah, I mean, this will give you endless hours of gameplay. But today in 2024, I would definitely say avoid this game. Know about it. There's something to be said about it, but the people that will like this game are very, very few. You might be hearing from one of them right now. Kenny, what did you think of Gold Rush?
No, I actually, we are fully in agreement this week, the three of us, which I think means no New Game Plus status for this one. I don't think either of you actually ever said. I'm just inferring.
Oh yeah.
But let me declare it, because this one for me is one of those celebrate it for what it was, but don't broadly recommend it for play today kind of games. The game is a feat. It really is. It needs to be honored for what it did, but it's also wildly frustrating. And there are very specific kinds of folks that will enjoy it. Today, there's no real reason to go back and play it. Listen to a podcast about it, but avoid playing it yourself, probably. Unless it's too late because you played along, in which case...
Sorry.
Thanks.
And thanks.
No New Game Plus.
That means that Gold Rush is not New Game Plus certified. But what did you think? AVG Goon said, I'm a huge Sierra fan that has been waiting for a Sierra game to come up. Which, by the way, have we not played a Sierra game?
100% we have. I'll tell you right now because I'm looking at the
I
list of
don't
games.
think we've.
You're going to have to
played-
say it.
I'm saying it really quickly. Where's the freaking list
I
of
don't-
games?
I don't think we've played a Sierra game from this era of like text-based adventures. This like, you know, we haven't played like King's Quest or some of those others that are like this era of Sierra games, but we've played something with Sierra on it for sure.
Like what?
I'm with Nolan.
I
don't know.
Just
I
keep
just know we
going,
have.
and I'll cut
I'm
you
going
off
through
with
the list right
Frogger?
now. I'm not being able to see any Frogger. They may have done a port. I don't think they're the ones that created Frogger, but I don't know. You can keep going through the list while
I'll
I
keep
continue.
going.
Lots of people point to Sierra deaths as bad design, but you can die in Mario too. And in a point and click, I'd honestly rather have feedback and humor from a death than a protagonist giving me a I can't do that and a bored idle animation like in LucasArts. Shots fired. And with regular saves, you're honestly not losing much progress or time. All of that Sierra defending from me, but then we got Gold Rush. On the plus, I do think the story is good. They push the AGI engine graphics to their limit, and I think you can get some real enjoyment if you use a guide regularly. That said, even for Sierra, Gold Rush can be aggressive with deaths and soft locks. It could use some better hints and sense of direction in the beginning, even from a Sierra defender like me. This is no NGP. This is not the place to start and is a bad entry point for adventure games.
That's interesting. I didn't think that's where that commentary was going to go.
No.
I thought we were going to get grilled.
I think it's like Fox and Friends, fair and balanced. Let's go to Cecil. I won't bury the lead and come out and say that this game does not get my recommendation of New Game Plus, even as an old school adventure gamer. Gold Rush it's good, by the way, to hear from these people of Kenny's ilk that played these
For
kinds
sure.
of games when they were
There are
in their
dozens of
teens.
us.
Sure.
Gold Rush is a game that doubles down on a lot of Sierra's old principles. The alternate routes doubles down on the general open-endedness of how you could approach the games where you could just wander around until you found the puzzle. While the puzzles aren't specifically cruel in and of themselves, the game does double down. My goodness, that's too many double downs, Cecil.
Down, dang.
The game does double down on the potential to soft lock yourself and how easily your character can die. While Sierra Adventures being very lethal does give it the added challenge you want from a game, going so far as to randomly have your character stricken with cholera and the game admitting to you that you just got unlucky seems a bridge too far. If you're new to adventure games, this is a no. If you're not generally a fan of point and click or text parser adventures, absolutely not. This game is tailored to a very specific audience of players who enjoy trial and error and can grind success out of failure.
The Sierra Online list of games is very long, if you were wondering. Still
And I don't think we played one.
I don't think we have. They
Just
technically
crazy.
helped. They technically published Half-Life.
Did they?
And some versions of Frogger they were a part of as well.
Y'all both were looking at that rather than listening to Cecil's commentary.
No, thank
we
you
were
for your
doing
commentary. It's
both
great.
at the
It's
same
a 10
time.
out of
Nolan,
10.
before you joined this for our recording session today, before you came to the studio,
Yeah.
Kenny and I were lounging on the couches talking, and I said that this would be a game that I'd want to watch Kenny play. I don't know if that's the case because I feel like the majority of the time he would be wandering around not accomplishing anything, and I'd be frustrated. But
I would be wandering around and I would be accomplishing things like discovering a Sierra game that we have played. Birthright, the Gorgons Alliance.
wow.
What is that?
Oh no, we all remember that, and now that we've done that, can y'all actually pay attention to
No,
the
because I
commentary?
found another one.
Yeah, give us
Goblins
some
with a
more.
bunch of eyes.
Yeah, I
there's
remember that
there's
one.
a few.
They published that game.
Oh gosh. All right. Finally, Don Queso. I could go
Queso.
for some chips and case right now.
Oh yeah, White Case. Are you crazy?
I played this game when I was a child. I understood nothing, but yet enjoyed making tiny amounts of progress, though I never got far. Revisiting this as an adult, even if it is easier to understand, these games are meant for you to fail constantly, and it's not a gameplay loop I'm particularly fond of. No NGP from me.
Okay, so I was a little concerned. Not concerned. I just thought that people were going to like really love it based on the YouTube comments that I was getting, and that they were going to be mad at us. But it sounds like everyone kind of was like, "This is a Sierra game we don't really talk about." But I mean, it's still you can respect it for many reasons.
For now, we are going to set aside Gold Rush, and we are going to randomly select the game that we're going to be playing for the next 7 days. Yeah. Ooh, leaving 1888 Brooklyn and going to Nolan, I'm sorry that we're not changing things up much. We're just going a couple years in the future to 1990, and we're remaining on the PC.
Are you trolling me? Because
I'm not.
there's no way.
I'm okay for another
Dude, screw
PC
the-
game. And moving to 1990 means we're probably moving away from a text-based adventure.
It's
did
not
we say?
Sierra. It's not Sierra.
What did we say this year was? Good because of Smash Brothers? It's wrong.
No. We said it was going to be.
We said it was
What
gonna
did
be
we
fine.
say?
Mid.
We said it was going to be games that our community likes, but we don't.
Dude.
Okay, so that was one thing for Nolan. Kenny, I'll tell you that this is a puzzle game, a logic puzzle game. So maybe that's something that you would like.
I like puzzle games.
Wait, that's kind
generally.
of what we just did, a logic puzzle.
Yeah,
game.
this is sounding really bad to me, but continue.
Okay, it first released as a part of an entertainment pack from Microsoft, and then it was later included in a standard install of Windows. This is a game that all of us have played before, and that I can't even believe is a video game that we're going to be playing for the next 7 days and talking about next week on our podcast. But we're about to have a whole community of gamers in 2024 play together Minesweeper.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Minecraft. I'd play Minecraft.
Yes.
Well, we are playing Microsoft's Minesweeper
This isn't
week.
a video game, by the way.
Well, it most certainly is a video game.
It's a game with visuals.
Video game.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a-
absolutely a video
It's
game.
a program.
I actually checked because I was like, is this if we're going by Wikipedia, which teachers say we should, it says Minesweeper is a video game created by Kurt Johnson. So
Who?
video game is right there in the first
All right,
sentence.
fine.
Okay.
But
I love it. That's a staple for me. This will be a fun episode. I don't know what Nolan's going to do this week, though.
I will probably have to find it on Steam or GOG. Find a copy of Minesweeper and play it along with Kenny this week.
join us in Discord, please. All you have to do is go to discord.gg/newgameplus.
You can also go to patreon.com and support your favorite retro gaming podcast, which you should absolutely do. We want to say thank you to those of you who are supporters of the show, including our newest patron level supporter this week, Android 440.
Yo.
Thank you for becoming a producer. Thank you to our director level supporters, Bro Jim, Super Hypered, and Siegfried. And to our many producer level supporters, we appreciate y'all as well. That includes the following people: Alex, Amarlian, Antonin, Bill R, Ben, Craig, Dagany, Dustin's 5 o'clock Shadow, Garlisle, Guardian Kate, Hallex, Harold, Hey Brother, J Robert, Jake Jordan, George Orbings, Justin Klin, Levi, Maximum, Megatroid, Miss Muso, Not Enough Dog, Radmac, Retro Man, Sagejen, Sasser, Scotty Shane, Shauna, Snake Medic, Swaggy, Taco Fish, Psycho Mantis, Thomas Tin, Sturtle, Unbedavable, and Zion. Appreciate y'all.
You can find us on our social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. The links are in the show notes. Listen directly on any podcast provider of your choice. Make sure you subscribe so that you are the first to get new NGP episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a kind rating and review. Our episode artwork was created by our friend Dave. Our video episode was edited by our friend Dylan. Our audio episode was edited and produced by our friend Dan Willett. Join us next week as we play Minesweeper.
Crap.
Until then, I'm still Brooklyn.
I'm already playing the game of the week.
Wait, that was too fast. I'm Jared.
And this has been New Gold Plus.